Kevin Sidebottom here, speaker, author, and trainer, and I go around and teach sales organizations and leadership teams how to build trust and influence with their customers and their team members so they can drive better profits and more revenue. Today, let's talk about how we build trust and loyalty with our customers. That's what we all want, is customers that are loyal to us and constantly buying from us and not just trying to get a better deal every turn, right? Well, let's talk about that. How do you build trust? Well, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we're answering the 3 questions. Do I like you? Do I trust you? And how can you help me? If we're not answering those 3 questions, which I'm going to show you how in this video and my trustworthy training that I have, if we're not answering those 3 questions, we're not going anywhere. You're not going to build trust. You're not going to build loyalty. You're not getting it done. So let's jump in to answering those 3 questions. Well, the first one is, do I like you? Well, that means we have to be likable. That's right. We have to be likable if we're going to grow trust. What does that mean? Well, first it means making sure that we're not showing up like Eeyore or somebody who is negative or grouchy. We have to put our best foot forward every single day. That's right. We need to focus on being our best. How do we do that? Well, there's a few things we can do to actually make sure we're doing that. First is make sure we're studying our customer, learning about them. What can we learn about them before we meet with them if we have that opportunity? Well, there's social media, there's LinkedIn, there's Instagram. There's tons and tons of data out there that we can go figure out these people in advance, unless they're walking into our store and we're selling, furniture or cars or something like that. We need to learn as much as we can about them beforehand. Got to have a game plan of how we're going to show up. If not, we're just winging it, and people will sense that right out the gate. So we need to make sure that we're showing up, okay? We also need to make sure that we know our environment. What's our environment? Is it really noisy with heavy machinery, or is it a quiet, cozy, laid-back environment? Well, if we have a bad environment and people associate that with us, they're not going to trust us and they're not going to like us because of the environment. Not our fault, but if we show up in the wrong environment, guess what's going to happen? We need to constantly be aware of our environment. That may mean moving over to somewhere else that's a little quieter so we can learn about people, okay? So we know about our environment. We also need to make sure that we're showing up in the right colors. Well, there's different colors that can affect people. That's right. Yeah, the different colors. If you show up wearing a big power tie like the President of the United States, you're going to show up as being very intense. So when I show up, I wear certain colors. That's right, because I've learned over the years and some of the trainings that I've had, the different colors affect people. Now, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about colors and how they affect people, go pick up Robert Cialdini's book called Influence. Fantastic book, breaks down all the different colors. I also teach it in my trustworthy training and break it down to you as well. We also need to know that the scents that we have on can affect people. Now, we typically don't have personality tests. Pretty much you can diagnose the DISC method pretty quickly, but unless we're sitting people down, we don't know exactly their personality type down to the core, so our scents can actually affect them, which is why I don't wear cologne anymore whenever I'm meeting with customers. The reason being is the different scents really do affect people. When I went and started picking out colognes down in St. Thomas one year, I actually was educated that the different scents and the spiciness of different kind of athletic people would wear this kind of cologne, more reserved people would wear this kind of cologne. It really affects your, how you show up. So I stopped wearing colognes, except for with my wife, because I don't want to set people off, because different scents can actually turn people off unintentionally. Just think about this. When you go into the department store, go check out the difference in the sounds and the scents in the women's department compared to the kids department and the men's department. They're totally different. And there's a reason.
And that's why they have the bigger buildings than we do, is because they've studied us long enough to understand buying habits. Same thing with our customers. If we want to build trust, we've got to make sure we're setting the stage properly. Okay? Now we've talked about all those things. What are we going to do to make sure that we're building trust? Well, we need to make sure that we're not jumping into their comfort zones, and I teach about that in Trustworthy. But we need to make sure that when we're showing up, we're asking lots of questions. And we want to be intentionally learning about people. That's why I use the house analogy whenever I do my trainings. And we also need to make sure that we're understanding the situation, the issues, and the ramifications. We got to be asking questions constantly, because the more we learn about people, well, then we can actually help them. Remember that third question, how can you help me? Well, if you want to build trust and loyalty, you got to be able to answer that. So you got to be able to find the solution. How do you do the solution? Guess what? Ask questions. If we do that and show up and do it consistently, we're going to build trust and loyalty with our customers. All right? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe. If you think it'll help somebody else, share it with them. That's why I do these videos, is to help you. Okay? We'll see you next time.